Well, we're back in. There's a second one of these apparently, so don't know how well the first one's been received yet, just because that's been posted on the day that we're filming this, so we're just kind of winging it as we go. It's quite frosty today in the unit, hence the blankets. I don't need a blanket because
built different.
Can't afford one. Got no money. I've got a link in the bio to sort of GoFundMe, get a blanket. If we can raise £10 by the end of the week, I can be warm for Christmas.
Maybe.
But yeah, we're going to jump into some hot topics today. I have one in specific I want to talk about, which Alex already knows.
Yeah.
They probably already know because we're all on social media, which is going to be about the British Drift Championship. Do you know anything about that? Have you seen the stuff on that?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Oh, it's good.
No, I've not seen what's gone on with it.
It's not good.
I saw some posts today referencing it, but I didn't.
We'll get some statements out. We'll be all professional.
I'd love to read the comments.
Oh, I can't get them somewhere on the internet, but the comments are brutal. But let me just get the first post.
I've been too busy buying cool car parts to stay up to date with
he's
car news.
car parts.
Hey, it's payday. You got to get some.
Sorry, got to bear with the old iPhone.
iPhone 3.
I'll just read the statement. This isn't me I just want to state before we get into any of this. This is all obviously our opinions on stuff. I don't want to sound like I'm slagging BDC off or anything like that. It's just our
sort
take
yourself
on
out.
things. But this is the statement, just so you're up to date, obviously, of where things are at. Like many other businesses, the BDC is heavily impacted by coughing around. I've got a drink. Compose myself. They've been impacted. I'm going to short phrase it rather than go for all this. I've decided, so they're saying about they've been affected by the pandemic, like all the businesses have. Basically, they've cancelled 2023 season, and then it's like we thank you for 15 years of support and provided. Oh God, my phone's had a spaz attack. They basically thank people for the support for the past 15 years and all that with drifting and the companies that they've been with. But from the sounds of things, that's basically it of BDC until further notice, basically.
Until somebody else buys it out. And
possibly, yeah. Also, I know it's, to my understanding, it's had a new owner, which I know is Mac Frost, which he seems sound stuff, but I don't know how long he's had it for, but I'm guessing the drawback from after the pandemic hasn't really gone well of what they would hope for, I guess, running it.
Which is a shame.
Which another thing which I will slightly slag off on this, which I'm not gonna dive in deep like, oh fucking hell, but this is quite bad in my opinion, and everyone else on Facebook thought the same. So they did a prize draw. See the 350 they were giving away.
Yeah, I saw something like that. Yeah.
They did the prize draw without doing a live raffle or anything. They just goes so and so was the winner.
That's rough.
And just put a picture up with their name, and it's like.
They could have done multiple spins.
It's a bit sus, really. It might be legit. Everyone's assuming, but the only way that they would get away from people making these assumptions or even having this conversation that we're having now is by going, here's a live draw, we're doing it this time. They didn't even tell anyone when it was happening. Like, this was just posted up, and people are like, what the hell? Like, we didn't even know this draw was happening. You haven't sold all the tickets. What's the crack?
It might be all good, but when it comes to prize draws and raffling off cars, the standard is a live draw.
Yeah,
every single all your companies do live draws. So
I don't know how you do a raffle and not go, oh, we need to do a live draw, because people have spent I think they're like £30 a ticket or something. It's not cheap. No matter how much money you've spent, you've spent it on knowing that I'm being entered. You don't know you're going to win. That's the whole point of it. But at least you want to know what chance you had, and you can go, it was legit. You can't question it. The fact they haven't done that, then you go.
Wasted.
It causes I can't get on the internet because my phone's not got internet because I'm poor or whatnot. But all the comments are just people kicking off, and it's like they posted that yesterday, I want to say, and then after that they then posted about the BDC ending the season. It's just a bit like it's not great, really. It doesn't look too good. Like, sort of, obviously I'm not a business runner or anything myself, but it's not how I'd have done things. It's just a bit But hopefully the guy enjoys his new car that's been built for him. We love 350s.
Obviously you can't use it in the BDC.
No.
So that doesn't really work too well, but yeah.
So I don't kill that off on a bad note though, because obviously a question that I was asking myself of, obviously when I got the 350, I was like, I want to go to BDC, it's going to be so much fun, and doing that whole side of comp things, you go, oh, well the British Drift Championship's gone, what are you going to do? It's not the end of the world, because there's a drift league, it's called Drift League, but it is a Drift League, which is very confusing. I don't know if you guys have heard of them before.
Drift League, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they feeder series normally?
They're kind of like a feeder series. They've obviously now stepped up the game. Semi at the same time that this is all cracked off. I wouldn't say it's they've stepped up the game because of this. I think they've kind of just doing their own thing, and it's also happened that BDC have dropped off as they've then took the lead. I mean, they've released, like, I'm going to get up, it's got it on my phone, of like their calendar for next year of like tracks and stuff, and it looks pretty.
I saw that, and it looks impressive.
Very impressive, to be fair. I mean, I'm trying to think how many things BDC did last year. I know they did this year, should I say? They did Buxton, Teesside, Three Sisters, and Driftland. I don't know if they'd ran Teesside twice, because I know they usually do. They run it
6 odd
both
events
ways.
or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's like
5 or 6.
4 off. There wasn't too many. I know they'd lost. I could be wrong, but to my understanding, they lost their contract with Driftland because something cracked off with that, which obviously also doesn't help. I don't know if that's to do with BDC themselves or the people running it, and they fell out. Obviously, this is all just
conspiracy.
Yeah, this isn't factual. Don't hate me on any of this, but that's my understanding of it. That there's been a kerfuffle, which obviously causes issues because we're very scarce for drift tracks as it is, and then if that cracks off, you're a bit like, damn, we can't go there.
Buxton's questionable at best.
Buxton wouldn't be. I love Buxton. Obviously, I learned to drift at Buxton. Great environment when I've been, but not a pro track.
Not technical enough as...
I think it's cool because you got the walls and stuff, but then if you saw the cars that went to Buxton, there were still nice cars that went, but compared to what there is at other events like Teesside, you're just not drawing them in because you don't want to send your car into a wall. Any other track, there's safety precautions. You've got your tyre walls. They do run sometimes the concrete barrier at Teesside, but I think they did that once and loads of people smashed into it and then they got rid of that. But
I think Buxton's just not very inviting.
it's just a bit brutal.
If you say new to drifting and you've got, I mean, say like I'm planning to do next year, drift my S15 and you've got a clean car.
Yeah, you're not going there.
You don't want to take it somewhere where if you screw up, you're going to put it backwards into a solid concrete wall.
It's the whole, like, they've took away the exclusivity of, like, the event, I want to say as well, by, I don't know if this is due to them struggling possibly and them just trying to get more people into it, but like with the last 2 events of the year, so it's Buxton and then Three Sisters, I think it was, they did like a thing where they were letting like other people join, which is, I understand, is fair enough for kind of feeding people in. I did try and be one of them random people, but my car wasn't up to spec. But it kind of takes away, I suppose, from them being the people that have put all the effort in, are like a very elite level, to then just kind of like mixing them in with
general public.
I don't want to slate on like just other drift people because they could be great, but it's kind of, there's no exclusive drifters and like the people that are learning, it's just kind of put them all in one, when I feel like the people that are doing very well need to be treated like sort of superstars in a way. It's a weird phrase for it, but you're not going to have a football team and you put like, I don't do football, I don't know why I come with a football reference.
That's terrible.
Messi, you're not going to put Messi with your Sunday League team, you're not going to mix them up because they're just 2 different levels, and it's, people want to watch the best, they don't want to watch not the best.
Yeah,
sort of
average
compete.
Joe kind of person who's
Because
done a few drift days.
A lot of the thing that's going to draw people in with the drifting is watching it, and if there's a couple of people that just keep going around spinning around, they might be like, what's this? I've come here to watch the best people in the UK, and they're not seeing that, might put them off. Obviously they did that for 2 events. Buxton probably more so, because probably not too many people wanted to go, which obviously we've touched on. Which, yeah, they didn't interest me to go and watch them myself. I watched Teesside's drift fucking live streams, and they were good, but none of the other ones really sort of drawed me in, I'd say. I was getting to a point though before I tanged off. I'm sorry. About Drift League. I don't want to end on like a hating about UK drifting stuff, which I was going to like the future obviously with Drift League and their events, which they were. I've got them here. Zoom me in. Come on. There we go. My fingers are so cold. Pembrey or Pembrey. I could be bodging that. Never heard of that before. Have any of you heard of that track?
I have not.
I googled it and it's in like, I think it's bottom of Wales. I could be wrong, but I'm sure that's where it was. It was like a bit of a trek from us, but we're Midlands, so everywhere's.
We're in
I
the
wouldn't
Midlands.
say it's a
Trek.
trek, but actually we're probably like ideal for going anywhere in the country. But that's good because I know there's a lot of people that drift south and there isn't anything there. To my understanding, there's not a lot of stuff, so that helps people, I suppose, that are down that way. Because I mean, Teesside's far up for us, and that'll be even worse for people below, etc. Then they go into Three Sisters, Driftland, Teesside, and then the Pembrey one again, and then they're ending it on Three Sisters. So obviously they overlap multiple tracks, we can run different layouts, which I can't hate them on because there's not many options, but I think that's a pretty solid like list of tracks, to be fair, for the year, and 6, which I don't believe they did 6 last year. on a good note as well with them, which I do like, these were the prizes that they got last year for like first, second, and third place. Which
useful
oh
stuff,
my
very
God.
useful stuff.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. So obviously it's on the phone, so you guys can't see. Obviously you can Google it and whatnot, but I'll explain. First place, I'll show you Maria as well, so you can indulge. But it's a trailer, like an enclosed trailer, was first prize, which that's going to be
amazing.
a lot of money. I mean, they might not have a trailer that's that fancy, or if they do, they can sell it. But that in itself is a nice prize to get. Second prize, English. Come on.
Second place.
Second place. Thank you, Craig. A really nice toolbox, Draper one. It's like a massive tool cabinet thing, which I think anyone would be happy to get, unless you're like a snap on
Purist.
yeah, which yeah, and then wheels, which everyone loves wheels. If you're drifting, you always need a set of wheels, and even if you don't like any of the prizes, it's got monetary value that you can sell. So, and obviously I don't know what they're doing for next year, but if that's last year and they're doing more events, going to draw more people in. They also said they're doing 2 leagues as well next year, so they're doing like a bit like our BDC had, like Pro 1, Pro 2 style thing. Don't know what they'll be called, but the fact that's there is, I'm a happy boy. I'll attempt to see what the regs are and stuff, and maybe push to go into like the bottom one of that. We'll see though. I don't want to get my hopes up for something, but yeah. Car scene wise, have you guys seen or heard anything drastic recently? Any news that you'd like to share?
Last night there was a big event in Burton-on-Trent. DMO did, I think it's called Cars and Kebabs or something. German Doner Kebab. That was quite big. There was a lot
very
of cars.
big, yeah.
A lot of cars, and then DMO pulled up, took his Lambo out of his trailer.
SVJ, I think. Is that
Yeah.
what it was? Yeah.
It took him about half an hour to 45 minutes to make a 30-second journey as everyone swarmed his car. But yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty mental. I turned up a bit late because I was family duties and whatnot. When I rolled up though, there was a lot of police, which is good, I think. As a younger man, I'd be like, oh, there's police everywhere. But now it's more like, good. I like police being there because
Keep it under control.
keeps it safe. There's a lot of meets that get out of hand very easily, which we've discussed before. We've started in the podcast stuff of just people being idiots and crashing and stuff. I mean, there's probably all been a point when someone, if you're into cars, has been like, I'm going to pull out faster junctions and stuff, but there's always a time and place for it. I don't really think meets are that. Very controversial me saying that, with my most rated video on YouTube being that, but
Leaving a meet.
but it's there. Do you know what I mean?
I think that like the past year, the amount of accidents that have gone from somebody
Deadly.
spinning into a curb to killing people is.
It's been quite rough recently, hasn't it? It was never anything that like.
I mean, yeah, we saw plenty of crashes, but it was like
Just bumps and stuff, wasn't it?
bumping into a curb or wiping a wheel off a car or
Yeah,
something. But then
the actual stuff on the news now, people actually hitting crowds, is like shit.
It's because
And I-
cars are getting faster.
I see quite a lot of that stuff on my TikTok. Whether it's just I'm on the bad side of TikTok and I don't know, but I'm just sure there's the past sort of 3-4 months alone. There's been nearly 10 people killed at meets just from.
I think the most recent one was Utoxeter. Someone, I don't
one
know
was
if they
that?
died. It was probably like a month or 2 ago. I don't know if they
Most
died.
recent one's the one in Oldbury, the R34.
Yeah,
I saw that when you showed me that one.
there's
Yeah.
all sorts of. It's all different levels of cars. Though. It's not just like first. A lot of them are first cars. Like owners and
You're on
stuff.
about the one with the Fiesta? Is that the one you're referring to? Or is that a different
might
one?
have been. I
There's
can't
the red
remember, but-
Fiesta that hit
Red
something
Fiesta
else.
was down south somewhere.
Too
There's
many.
too many. As you can see, that's what it's become now. Is someone holds a camera on the exit, and
I mean, I
people are doing handbrake turns.
I think
skids
even
and-
without that though, I think like a lot of them that
crowd.
I've seen, there's big crowds on these industrial estates, and people I get want to show off because to them that's probably like the highlight of their car
Even
I mean, I
scene
think
thing is
all
that.
of us, well, not you because you've not had a chance, but certainly us three are all guilty of having a camera pointed at us and doing something stupid.
Yeah, I've got photos of me doing burnouts in the
Yeah.
course.
Something impressive, you mean? So you're doing
We've all got
impressive
photos of
manoeuvres.
us doing burnouts
Yeah.
and stuff and that, but
That's at MFN though for me, which is I'd say sound because it's just a strip.
you know, I think the amount of
Barriers.
meets have got way more popular since COVID, and now there's
Yeah.
They're more of like the ghetto-y meets though that are kind of not controlled. It's just here's a location, loads of people go, and then they just start
I
bombing
think
up and down the
meets now are
street.
they're probably a little bit more comparable to like your American
Yeah, I think
takeovers
so.
and
Yeah.
that, where you've got
Which
I
is
think
what
a
a
last
big
night
crowd
became.
of people doing, you know,
Silly stuff.
I want to say
pools.
donuts and that, but not that many people in the UK do it
First
because
gear
most people have
skids.
front-wheel drive cars. But
Yeah.
But that's
handbrake turns and launching it out of corners into.
Or just driving fast in general down a straight when it's like, I get
a
it, you're
very
going
skinny
fast,
road as well, and busy.
but then there's someone that pulls out because of the junction, and then you can't do anything at that point. And then it's not good.
Just think, we had that meet where we went. It was us three in Nottingham, and that
With the
motorbike
motorbike one, yeah, I know which one you're
was
referring
straight
to.
over the guy's bonnet because
Yeah.
they're just flying up and down. This
Yeah, that one was like, it was like started off as a nice meet in like an industrial estate, and then it then starts
It
with
was drag
a
racing.
couple of people start drag racing, and it's like, okay, you kind of watch it, but then you're a bit like, some stuff starts getting sketchy, and then it's just,
Well, it's like I'm all for having fun and messing around in your car, but in front of like a crowd of people, it's not the place to decide
no.
to see if you're James Dean in your 318i Beamer.
See, a lot of
That's
them,
not
to
the
be fair.
time and place.
There was one too far, so I like compose myself for English, which I can't. I think it's because I think of something, I try and get it out, and then it just
You
doesn't.
try so fast.
Trying so fast. I see a lot of one series without being like a stereotype, but they're just the videos that I seem to see, which mine's usually on Instagram Reels if I'm on there. And it'd be usually them blitzing over roundabouts, and then they then kick out, and they either do a very impressive save, or they don't, and then you're like, well done.
Yeah.
Your finance needs
I think
paying
a lot
off.
of it, those
You've binned your car.
the past few years, Beamers especially have got extremely accessible to young
Yeah.
people.
Fast.
Yeah.
They've got so much
Yeah.
faster
Well,
than
yeah, for like 20 grand,
Very
you
impressive.
can get a very fast car, which
even 15.
Yeah.
They're accessible.
I think,
I
to
mean,
be
even
fair,
stuff like M135i's that at the bottom end of your M bracket, and they're not slow cars
I
at all.
suppose to be fair, it depends what you want to class as quick, because even stuff, that, I think even like a 200 horsepower car can be too quick for
yeah.
someone that can't drive. But I guess we're referring to in general is like stuff that we'd consider
300
substantially, yeah.
around that
which
bracket
it is
upwards.
more accessible. Like if you want that, it isn't too hard to get. Pay like $350 a month on finance and you're off, sort of thing. But
But last night became Mexico.
is that East
people
Midlands
call it.
Airport?
Yes.
Yeah, I
so
saw
it
that on
went,
Scott's story.
it went towards East Midlands Airport, and
Where did they post that? How do you find out about them?
I don't know. I didn't have the information myself. I think it was like on DMO's story or some
Oh, okay.
people were sharing it, or different
It's
pages
not
and
like
stuff.
it's normally Snapchat or something now.
Yeah,
because
because then police can't track it down. But
Otherwise, they'll jump into Facebook groups to police and then
Yeah.
track you to each location.
but it moved to there, and it was like you said, the Beamers. They're coming around one roundabout, going down, and then coming back down. All you hear is them letting off the throttle and slowly like blipping it around the roundabouts, and then they just fly off. And back in the day, it might have been quite cool, but now I was stood nowhere near the roundabout because
How'd you go to it?
yeah, I briefly, but
You're a boss.
You're encouraging
No,
it.
encouraging.
I was not encouraging it. I went to one location. I was there for probably about half an hour. It was the old me would have enjoyed it. Like all of us back in the day, a couple of years ago, probably would have enjoyed it. But like now, you look at it and think, yeah, I don't want to be here
for
very
example,
long.
we've all got a little bit more mature in the car scene, and
More experience in it.
we've all also been in accidents or bad situations that have probably made us now
Or
think
watched
twice about.
What's happening here? No fingers pointed.
Not today.
Nothing can quite here with. Be it our fault or not, or somebody else's. It's
But yeah, it
no
was.
digs at you, like.
Thanks, Greg.
Not calling you out, bro. Right?
Let's not do that.
I just realised all of us here have had experiences within the car scene. But yeah, last night became questionable.
Was there a car on the grass or something?
There was a
Did
car
you
stuck in the
crash
grass.
onto the
No,
grass?
no.
Or I drove on
So
the
a mini. It's great. It was stuck for probably half an hour to 45 minutes. A mini had pulled up on this grass. Bearing in mind the weather's been dreadful lately, it sunk, and then a jeep came to pull them out.
I think I saw
The jeep then got stuck, which was obviously because it was in two-wheel drive, not four-wheel, and it wasn't in low gearing. Then he changed it into low gearing, and he still struggled. Dug a ditch. He was probably about a foot and a half deep, and really struggled to pull the mini out. I nearly got covered in mud. It wasn't good.
As you were there, like, "Weh."
I wasn't recording myself. I know other parties who were filming. No names, but it was.
They needed a Mondeo tow rig.
What they
That
needed
would've
was a
got it out.
Mondeo to pull it out.
Estate.
With a broken front grille.
That's character. That's what that is.
Yeah, but yeah. So I didn't stay there long because I didn't want to. I didn't want to be involved in any shenanigans. If someone spins out off of a roundabout, they would have been coming at me.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be involved in that, and I don't want to be stuck with that group as well when the police turn up.
Yeah, well, even if you're leaving the area and they know that's gone on, you
Which on the way home,
with it.
there was a Cupra which was racing, flew past me, absolutely flew past me, and then a police car then flew past me, and no lights on. So obviously he was just like following him, we were watching him, and then he went off on the roundabout. Police car followed him. I assume his night didn't end very
He
well.
probably thought he was racing them there, wasn't he?
To be fair, I couldn't tell it was police until he'd come past me. It wasn't undercover, it was like stickered up and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was stickered up, but I couldn't tell.
Well,
It was so dark.
They have the grey ones, don't they? The
Yeah,
grey
which is what it
Beamers,
was. It
which
was a
are
grey
really
Beamer,
difficult to tell from
and you
behind.
couldn't tell it.
I feel like you just go, if it's a new Beamer,
That's the
drive
one.
so that's what I'm like.
I don't mess
Well,
with
it's
that.
nice to like
in
any
general.
estate that's like under 3 years old. I think there's.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I drove past a completely stock 70 plate. Let's go to Octavia Estate or something.
Yeah.
And I said to you, just have a nose in that because I was about to boot in the Lexus. With police suit in it, so I was like, yeah, no,
So-
let's go sensible.
I've recently seen a lot of undercovers. On the way to work, undercover X5 came past me. An undercover Range Rover Sport.
We should probably say, but where we are around Burton, the police force is fairly kitted out here. They're not an underfunded police force by any
No.
measure.
SWAT. I
Yeah.
think Burton just takes over the SWAT bit.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
They've got
police around
plenty of
lately.
undercover stuff around here. So.
Yeah, cool stuff as well.
Yeah.
Octavia VRSs.
Oh.
Whoa.
Touching on the meat thing though, like what you were saying about like the Mexico style meats, it kind of like we used to go to a lot of the ones where it was similar stuff, but it never used to be the race, and it was more of people had skid around a roundabout, in which we never used to be. You never
took part in any of it.
No, but I was more of getting at the point of that we never thought anything bad of it. We were always like, oh
You were
wow,
just
they're
part
drifting.
of it.
But I remember
feel
there's
like.
the Nottingham one we went to, and there was the. Do you remember the Beamer? I think it was camo, like an E36.
Yeah, 'cause I was
and you were
filming
like
it
in the
and
road
it-
like this, and he come round. I was like, but like, you kind of. It's almost like you assume they know what they're doing, but they might not. Like they might just be kind of just.
I think the difference is though is you're drifting around about. You probably want doing max 20,
Yeah, it's not
25
that
mile
quick.
30 mile an hour
You
max,
start
yeah.
racing, you're hitting 60,
Yeah.
70 or something.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There was a PD 130 Golf there last night.
Whoa.
No, actually, sorry, Polo 6N2.
Oh.
No, it was more. It was
More impressive.
Yeah, he was pummeling black smoke. It was probably pushing about 400 brake, and it was. There was a Fiesta ST which I know of, and I know that pushes like 360 brake. It absolutely obliterated it, and I was so impressed. I was so impressed. It was great.
Any social media, other things that you've seen, bar the DMO meet? Obviously, that was something recent. That was last night, and obviously the
last night,
drifting
yeah.
thing was yesterday that cracked off. To my knowledge, I haven't seen anything other dramatic.
Oof.
Can't English
I'm having a
today.
stroke.
I can't speak.
I don't think
Yeah,
there's been
need to
too
speak
much
about it.
social media wise. Nothing like viral or anything
I would
too
say
crazy.
not really. We've kind of missed the whole show thing of when
We're
this would have
ending
been
off the
great.
year.
Because with the podcast sort of route that we would take when say stuff's on, obviously there's Drift Matsuri or whatever. I always bodged the name. I think I got it right.
Oh,
then,
no, that's
though.
correct.
Yeah, good job.
Matsuri, correct.
But like we would have done like a bit of talking about that and what our opinions are on that, which I feel like it's too late to comment back on stuff like that. But I'm going to touch on now that I'm slightly on back to the drifting topic because that's what I like to talk about. Is Thai streets are really good because they and talking they've bodged out really awfully. I know where I'm going with that. I'm sorry, I'm trying. But like the whole talk about like the UK drifting and like struggling and stuff, they've been a very solid company and probably the only company that I can think of that directly funds like big events because they did. Obviously, the Matsuri, they were linked with that, which is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, like Jap like drift day or weekend that they
Like,
do.
It's up there as one of the biggest.
It's one of the top ones. So like all the pro cars go, all the guys with really cool slammed cars go. It's kind of like it attracts a really cool crowd. Not been myself yet. We do plan to go at some point. I think we all kind of want to go to that one. But it's cool that there is companies that support stuff like that, and they also did their Tyre Streets Drift King Champion event at I think that was Tracks. I think they hosted that.
Tracks or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Which is nice that they get involved with stuff like that. I mean, it'd be cool if they potentially did their own series, but I know that that's another ordeal if they were to try and do something like that. But or if they partnered up with like Drift League, would be cool. But
definitely they'd be a great sponsor for an event. Definitely.
Yeah. I know the BDC had like the tyre control thing they brought in this year, which was with Xenos tyres, which I kind of get because it gives you this is the tyre to use, it makes it fair, but then at the same time, if you've got a sponsor, that you can't use their tyre then. So it's a bit like, what's the point of having that sponsor? And you've then got to buy a tyre that maybe you don't like, because I know people can be like, I like this tyre. Cause,
I definitely not heard of it before.
No, I hadn't either.
So you don't know what you're dealing with.
No, obviously you just got to buy it and use it and go, well, this is what I've got to compete on. In which I can imagine that's maybe
throw you off
put people
instantly
off.
as well.
I kind of just think, sorry, there should just be like a dying today. I'm just ill. I think ill and can't English. I think you have like a size that you kind of can't say you go bigger than this, which I think they did used to do, which is like 265. But I think specific tyres, it's kind of just you get what you kind of have, because then it caters to all budgets really. And if someone's got a semi-slick on their 800 horsepower car, then it's because they can afford to, and if you can't, then I just think it's just kind of one of them at the end of the day. You can't kick off, I think, and then make them run a poorer tyre or something like that. But we'll see. I mean, we're not in control of that, but it's just kind of seeing where things kind of drift to. I guess we could touch on the topic of shows that, or not shows, but like non-show season, of like, what do show people do, Alex, when it's not show season?
Nothing. I can confirm nothing other than apply for shows and wait 2 months to wait back to hear if I get in or not.
Is that how long it takes?
That's
or just
what
in general?
That's what Gravity is. So I applied for Gravity, which is now a weekend event.
I saw that's 2 days now, isn't it?
Which is not ideal.
No.
If your car's there, you'll have to leave it there.
And it's
and they're all indoor spots.
Yeah.
So
all of them.
I believe so, because I know the outside is for drifting and stuff, which that would be quite cool to see. But I assume all of them are inside spots.
I'm intrigued to know how they pick that, because usually like indoor you're like top level show car.
I
but
assume
then with how big the NEC is,
I think they'll have a lot of.
Are they going to let it split?
I think they're going to have like 4 halls maybe, and they'll have. I think they'll have all the indoors in like this year's one. You remember the piece of paper we had showing where everything was?
Yeah.
I feel like different halls will be different things, so you can have the top show cars.
NEC halls are big though, aren't they?
Yeah. So
you'd fit a good.
I think they'll segregate it into different bits of different levels.
Just a weird like thought process, because you could get something that's a bit like meh, but then it's then on an inside show, which it sounds like snobby phrasing that, but
that's not wrong though. So people who aren't into shows don't understand that there's so many different spots you can be put in at a show. Like Gravity this year there's a grand ring which I was in, which is the top of the outside, like the best cars outside, and then you have inside. But then there was multiple sections inside for different levels of cars, and then there was other bits and bobs of places outside. So there's different tiers, and depending on what car you have, obviously you can go in different tiers.
Yeah, and it's sort of one of them of, I've been accepted into this.
If you're indoor,
you're all indoor. Obviously, I know they can go, this is a group of that and that, but you're
still
as a
indoor.
whole, you're indoor, which I think as a show thing, it's kind of always been, I want to be indoors.
As my dream, that is totally correct. My dream's always been, before I start doing show cars, I want to be indoor at one show.
Good job.
Just
Gravity
one
next
show.
year.
So, fingers crossed, I get into Gravity. But if I get into a bad spot in Gravity, I'd be like, oh,
big sad.
Big sad. I've been
Give up on it
scammed.
all.
I've been scammed. I'm in a terrible place.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was awful.
I don't know what point we got to, but I'll
Yeah.
go back like 30 seconds worth of chat.
Yeah, it
Something
cuts off
outside.
after 30 minutes of us rambling, so we're
Awards
doing good.
outside Gravity, that's where you're
Awards.
at.
So
General
basically,
public parking.
general public car park. If you don't get inside, they are doing trophies, which is really good because I've been in car parks on shows because I haven't been bothered to take my car
Yeah, like
inside.
ultimate stance and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I don't want to put my car inside.
Just so you can get home and stuff.
So you can
early
get
and
home, you
whatnot.
don't have to be there all day and get a hotel because you have to leave it overnight and stuff. So I would love that at other shows. And if I didn't get in and I was in the general public, if I got a trophy in there, I'd be like, wow, fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's a possibility if we take the Mondeo, that might get like star of the show for,
Quite
like,
possibly.
in the car
It's
park.
going to get a nice patina because I've still not washed it after
Yeah,
many months.
and patina and classic cars, obviously the
And-
Mondeo is a modern classic.
Modern classic for sure.
That might win an award.
Best tow rig or something like that probably.
You could take the trailer as well.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
Best
quite
trailer.
cool.
Ugh. Yeah, I like the idea of that.
Because you're being rewarded for turning up as well in your car.
It could just
even
be
though you're
someone
not a show
random
car.
that's just gone, not even applied for this show.
It
and
could
they're
be
just in
something
the
really
car
cool.
park. Yeah.
And they didn't want to be in the show, but they wanted to turn up.
The only thing that I'd say about this, I mean, I'm far from a show car person and don't really do many shows. I mean,
You say that, but when you get your new wheels, Craig, and you
might-
lower it a little bit more.
stunts will be in everywhere. But to me, that kind of, it's cool. But then also, I've always seen shows that if you're inside, then
the
you're the
best of the
people getting the
bunch.
show. That means
Yeah.
they're the cars that people have put absolute fortunes
Thousands
worth of
into.
money and spend.
I think it's a different tier of trophy, though, isn't it? It's like you've
Yeah.
won an indoor
You know, it's
trophy
like
for
if-
that.
I've always looked at, if you look at the cars inside, they're like
They're
the
the
top
best of the
cars in the
best.
country.
Yeah, which is why I'll be
They're on
indoor,
an-
obviously.
They're on another level to everything else that's attending because they're just that much. You know,
It's
the
crazy stuff.
you know, there's the crazy cool cars or the really different builds that are like one-offs and that. And
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, with it being such a big venue, they'll be able to space it out better than the last one because that was
That
questionable.
was, and it was really hot.
Yes.
Inside, that's one certain bit which is
Very
like a
warm.
greenhouse.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't sell sweets really expensive last time. Because
Just don't buy them.
Gebby wasn't very happy.
Did he
'cause
give me the balls?
Yeah, yeah, he bought them from-
Oh, he tried to give them to us. Like, oh,
he bought them from Matt Armstrong. I'm a big fan of him. But I think his bags of sweets were like £10 a bag or something. And
Oh, mate, it's got a whole
Gebby
lot
wasn't
of
very
money.
happy.
Alex Gebby.
Yeah, Alex Gebby wasn't very happy and he complained about the price of the sweets. Even though he bought them. So yeah.
Still a customer.
So he's a paying customer.
He's
so
helped fund that Lamborghini build, so
he has built his new Lamborghini basically.
Gabby built it for him. But
Yeah, maybe one day we could be Matt
funded it with
Armstrong.
his stomach.
nah, it's
Really?
different stuff.
I'm going to start
We
building.
have different
There's
visions.
currently a scrap S15 behind the camera.
Yeah.
With
Whoa.
bumpers missing, all sorts, different coloured panels. Maybe we could do a series on that.
One day.
Rebuilding.
Future drift car, bro.
Rebuilding a scrap
Yeah, turning a
S15.
clean car into a battered car. It's Craig's build series on that.
Currently, it would be questionable. People see it now.
How to go from a clean OEM Sylvia to a battered drift car.
By choice, not because something's gone wrong with it.
Hopefully, it doesn't
Not
become
because
a battered
somebody crashed
S15.
into the side of it.
Yeah.
And then it'll devalue. And
Well,
buy
you
it
shouldn't
cheap.
say someone crashed into it on camera.
Oh, no.
It hasn't been crashed into.
Pristine.
I don't care, I plastered it all over the internet already, so
Yeah, everyone knows now.
everybody knows it's been fucked.
£8,000 for it, cash, right now.
Or
That'd have been
£5,000.
good 10 years ago.
£5,000 and like a couple bags of, well, packets of chocolate digestives. We're
Yeah,
a big
those
fan of
things
chocolate
somewhat.
digestives.
Big fan of them. Winter-wise, what else is cracking off? I'm trying to think of what actually goes on. There's just been like the random news thing, obviously things that we've just mentioned, but I guess it's kind of trying to build some sort of hype for the shows and events that come on.
Advertisement like
I suppose
crazy.
So, yeah. Gravity's the only one that I've seen really advertised for next year.
So Gravity right now, I think are the only people who
I've not seen
planning
anything
and
for Jap
stuff.
Fest. I know they do Silverstone early
Yeah.
next year, don't they? But not seen anything for that. I usually get emails on them, to be fair, but not seen anything.
I don't think I've seen anything else for actual shows. I don't think I've seen
Maybe
much.
just events, I suppose.
Events in general, no. I know they did the last Cars and Coffee at Donington. the other day.
Yeah, that was really good.
But that's because they only do like 2 a year or something, which is
if that.
that's quite bad because I think they look quite good. I've never been to one myself. I know that
We've
you
been to
used
one of them, yeah. I used to go to there was
to a
one in
couple of them,
Nottingham, I want to
There's
say.
Nottingham
That
one,
was like
yeah.
a different one, but
I
that was
feel like that's
very
more
good.
our cup of tea now as well because
Definitely, but
you've not got your ASBO behaviour, but they're not on
I
often
think you
enough.
have to be in specific car groups to
Crowds
find
and
out
stuff
about them
with-
because the one we used to go Nottingham, we'd rock up in
impressive cars.
the Corsa and the Fiesta.
Oh yeah,
and
I
it was
remember
all
that.
like- you
Now.
went to
I
one
did
of them,
go to that,
actually,
yeah, and I nearly reversed into
We're-
like a classic car, which is probably worth like £1 million or something.
I was great though, 'cause you had like one car park full of your fairly normal like Fiestas and Corsas and another one full of Lambos,
Oh, yeah, they had some
Ferraris,
top
Yeah,
stuff there.
911s, a Porsche
GTRs and all
911s.
sorts.
I've still got. I was going to get them. My camera bag's up there. I still guarantee. I'm going to get some now. I guarantee I've got stickers from that still in my camera bag. You know, I'm probably not meant to walk off set when we're talking.
Nah. Yeah, you are offset, unbelievable.
Okay, I'm
The
going
main
to
man himself.
bring the camera.
Yeah, don't knock the green screens over.
Oh no, we're not even in the unit. Oh.
See, I'm going to look like an idiot now if they're not in here. Oh, they are. No, that's a track sticker. Oh, I have got them. Look, I didn't lie
Hey.
to you. Look,
Wow.
cafe sticker.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that, but it was, the point where I nearly reversed into the extremely expensive classic car was quite rough. I think I nearly had a heart attack.
Rare loot these are.
Yeah, sell them on eBay for $5 each.
Oh, a lens cap. Wow, I suppose I've still got that.
Probably mine.
What's inside?
Wow, what's
Nah,
in Luke's
that's
camera bag?
Wow, that's inside. No, that's it for that. I'm not going to bore you with my camera.
I definitely like more events like that.
No, yeah, on the point of that, I think there's rumours that they're doing, for the people like things like Caffeine and Machine, they're supposed to be opening 2 more venues this year.
What, Caffeine and Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
That'd
From
be very
my-
cool.
Like a
From
chain.
my,
Oh, he's undercover.
yeah. From my lovely workmate who's always on about Caffeine and Machine.
Yeah. That'd be quite cool.
Suppose one of them's about 20, 25,
I think you
30
told me
minutes
about
away
this
from
one
here.
recently, I want to
Up
say.
in
which is good.
near Ashbourne, which is that's the only
Convenient.
annoying thing for us for Caffeine and Machine. You want to go to like one on an evening, weeknight, and
School
for
night.
us, yeah, you've got to go. You finish work at like 5 o'clock, and then you got to drive through Birmingham traffic, and it's an
Yeah,
absolute
you don't
nightmare.
want to be dropping your kids off at school all tired on a school night, on a school morning. But yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I'd
so I
like-
like Caffeine and Machine. I don't know
It's a
how
bit-
much you two have been, but
I've
Every
been
time
a couple
I've been
times.
with you, I've not been without you.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
It's because he's took me every time. I've never drove there.
Turn up in a Monday and everyone will love it.
Yeah, if
I
I'd
was
been
your
Cheering.
driving.
personal taxi, JDM
Yeah.
taxi.
But I like it there. The times I've been, I've really enjoyed it. I think the vibe there is cool. And it cuts out all the nonsense and
Yes.
the bad drivers. It gets
Well,
rid
that
of
thing
them.
there is just don't be,
Don't
an,
be an
idiot.
idiot.
And then
Don't
they
be a
don't,
dick.
they don't get that, which is good. Which I suppose it's harder to do like the street meets to have any of that because it's not an
Yeah,
owned venue. It's just they go to somewhere so no one gives
car
a shit.
park of some sort.
But it'd be nice
Well,
if there
stuff
was
like
more
that.
places like that.
Caffeine and Machine, yeah, that gives the car scene a really good name.
Oh, it does.
yeah, it counteracts all the bad stuff.
Counters
you
all
hear.
the bad stuff you get because as fun as everybody says it is going to all these night meets and that, all they really
Mexico.
do is make a bad name for the car scene.
And that's
Yeah.
usually what's put on the internet, like by
You'll see every
News channels,
news
yeah, it's
channel, everything is
boy racers crashed and
boy
done this,
races
killed
crash,
people.
boy races kill someone, boy races doing
No, never anything
Talking
positive.
about that.
skids and donuts and
Last night has had really bad backlash on the car scene, I think, because my mum actually told me about it. My mum told me about it. It was on Facebook.
That was an article about
Hundreds of people commenting, saying they thought fireworks were going off. They thought it was dreadful. So many
Yes.
people flying about, which it brings it, but it's also the crowd. DMO's crowd is a very, how I see it, as an ASBO kind of crowd because they watch his videos.
The
And when you
style of
watch
videos
him
though, if he's driving about and he's
banging gears, bang,
yeah, like
bang,
he's enjoying himself, he's having a good time, but
He's
then
promoting-
people are also going to want to be like, I want to drive around fast, I want to be like
Yeah.
him, and it's kind of like
But I think it's had a bit of
trouble
bad media.
yeah, especially the trouble with having a meet where they had it in
The centre
Burton
of
is it's
Burton.
dead in the centre of the town,
which
so
every other time they've had Burton meets, it's always the same
It
thing.
causes
of,
chaos.
this is cracking off.
And if you know Burton, the surrounding areas, there's houses everywhere. Stratton, people
To
in
get
Stratton were
into
complaining.
Burton.
and you
from
can't
any
get in or
direction.
out of Burton without going through some heavily
Yeah.
residential area in some form
And-
or another. So
Basically, it's had a bit of backlash, and I hate it because I was part of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Asbo.
I've added to that, but I haven't because I haven't been doing anything stupid, but I was part of it.
Yeah,
You
guilty
sure you're
by
not doing-
association.
Yeah.
Sure you're not doing popcorn limiters down there?
When he passed me, I was like, sheesh.
It's because I spotted your jumper, and I was like, it's Lucas. It was great. It was one of my many fans, you see.
Yeah, I was like, wow, my God,
Like
it's
I said,
Alex in the flesh.
Even as a person who has an obnoxiously loud car, I can see how if you live on one of those
It'd
roads,
be quite annoying.
and even at 11 o'clock at night, you're getting car after car.
I don't know what time it even ended, so
Flying
it
up
could have
and
been
down the
even
road.
worse than that.
Most people are out on like that late on a work night.
That's the thing, you got to get up at
Especially you
like...
stayed out, to be fair.
I
for
got
that.
home at 11 o'clock, so I wasn't actually too late.
You can certainly see where they're coming from. You got to get up for work at 5 in the morning. You've got people hooning up and down your road all night.
It's just think I
Or
wake
you've
up
got
at
young
5.
kids that keep getting woken up.
I wake up at 5, and if cars were coming past my house keeping me awake up all night, I think
You just
if I was older, I'd probably be commenting on
you
Facebook.
don't probably understand it to even like slightly go, oh, they haven't fun. You just like, why are they doing this?
Yeah. Why have they got
Like,
these
I'm not
silly
going to lie,
exhausts?
I hate in the morning just as I wake up, I think it's a Golf or something that goes down my road and the blow valve goes
Oh, that sounds
down my road.
Yeah. Well, when
It's just obnoxiously loud and unnecessary.
when I briefly owned my 350, my mum wasn't. My mum, she was like, "Are you gonna wake up the street?" And I was like, "It's not that bad." I think 5:10, I start my car up.
It's quite deep though, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't dreadful, so it started up, and I was like, "Oh, should be okay." Creep down the street at 5 miles an hour. Didn't upset anyone, but I owned the car for 3 days, so so it was a brief time.
Story time for another podcast.
For another podcast.
Cars that have gone.
brief car, sad days. But yeah,
I certainly can't sit here and say that I've never made an obnoxious amount of noise driving through somewhere.
yeah.
I still do that fairly
Ashby
regularly.
High
but-
Street.
I've got a video
It's a
of
good
him
one.
on Ashby High Street actually.
Ashby High Street's a good one. Head turning.
But somewhere like that, though, like a big high street or something where no matter what time it is, it's busy.
Yeah. There's
It's
no
different.
houses there.
Like, so
Well,
you take
there are houses there.
there are
Right,
houses up there, but if you think it's a busy place with like bars and clubs,
Clubs.
and
Yeah,
there's people always
it's-
about, and
It's always rowdy.
It's a little bit different. You kind of just pass.
But then
through.
you're going up like some random housing estate in the middle of nowhere, smashing the limiter in you. I'm not going to call any car out, but any form of car.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't be very happy.
Honda ST 3000.
Yeah, they're my favourite actually.
GTR.
Honda ST
They're the best
3000
all-wheel drive hatchback
GT
ever made.
hatchback. Quattros, they're
Yes.
the best.
Oh, with the Alexa sound system inside it.
Yeah, and sometimes they even have Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
you go, oh, need new tyres, and they just
Prime
turn on.
delivery
Instant.
to your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's really, they're the best. So if you're into cars, have a look into them.
The Amazon driver pulls up next to you, puts a bar through your window and then throws your parcel at you.
Yeah, into you. They're the
Yeah.
best.
One day. Just Pardon, just chatting shit.
Someone finds that now, and they're like, "Wow, this is great! I love this. I'm gonna buy this."
We should have put that out there. Jeff Bezos is going to copy that
Oh,
idea now.
God, we need to copyright.
He's definitely going to watch these
Trademark.
videos.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
It'll be like,
loves-
these are the style of videos where they just ramble for that long, that just ideas are flowing out. Just be
He's
writing
bored of
down.
watching it. He's bored of watching Amazon make £8 trillion every second.
Oh, yeah.
so-
More to be made.
Well, yeah,
All the time.
through us. So if anyone does want to make one of these cars,
Yeah.
hit us up. We have copyrighted it.
Yeah. All I ask is that you have a shiny gear knob. That's it. That's all I have to comment on that. Just picture like a little ball that's shiny.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Love them. I've proper thrown us all off.
Yeah,
with
you've
my
thrown
shit.
my
We've
head.
gone way
I'm
off
sorry.
topic.
Yeah,
there.
you've
So
thrown
sorry.
my head
Not
so
about
much.
boy races being all erratic and stuff, but I feel like we've dived into
Yeah,
that
you've
so
killed it.
deeply that we sound like old people.
We do. We sound like a bunch of boring old
Oh, we've
farts.
turned into Karens.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll make some really cool videos of us being Asbos so you can think that we
Yeah,
are
we'll
cool.
Yeah, we'll film a video of one of us doing a fat burnout in the middle of.
yeah.
You can do that, Craig.
Yeah, because I don't want to be associated
Yeah.
with illegal
Craig will-
street activities.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
If you're going to be a hoon, do it not at...
Do it at a track.
track
safely.
days.
Do it to the track or do
yeah.
it where the only person you're going to kill is yourself.
I wasn't going to say that.
That is not ideal.
It's not ideal, but it's better
I
than
think
killing
we should
somebody
retract
else.
that comment, as we don't want to be cancelled on our second podcast.
Yeah.
Don't
Action
kill
Kelty.
yourself. Try.
If you're gonna be an idiot though, only put yourself at risk.
Yeah,
in a better way. of putting it.
never ever risk a passenger either. I think that's one thing people
Unless
don't-
they can consent to be.
if they sign a waiver, go for it.
How many people have waivers? Like, before you get in my race car, they're like, it's a Honda. But like, before you get in my race car, get in the glove box. Like, can you just sign that?
Yeah, I feel like people in stripped out turboed EG Civics don't tend to carry waivers.
I think you know what you're getting into if you jump in a car like
I
that.
don't know if you're picking a girl up and she has no clue about cars.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, she needs to sign a waiver at that point.
I guess so. But yeah, I guess it was a good point. I was going to just more say if you're going to be an idiot in your car, don't
Do it on track.
near people.
Don't do it near
Don't
people.
get the message on yourself.
No, but mine was more not necessarily the track thing.
Do it safe.
Just not near
Don't-
other stuff. If you're going to crash, at least you crash into
I think we were going for the
non-people.
straight thing. I just jumped straight
You
to
went
it. Don't kill yourself.
you went with extra
No,
sensible
you
of
said
the track.
kill yourself if you're gonna kill anyone, basically.
No, I said only do it and only risk yourself.
Yeah, don't risk passengers. That's
Don't
the
risk passengers,
stupidest
don't
thing
risk-
you can do. Never push 100%, especially not down the lanes at this time of year.
I risk passengers when I'm drifting.
Yeah, you risk
Think
me the
I
other
know
day
what
down
I'm
the
doing.
lanes. Down the
Yeah, I
lanes,
feel
you're
like getting
risking
into a
me.
drift car, a drift track, you know what you're getting in for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if you don't, then
I've got a cage as
Yeah,
well.
we've got safety things, helmets.
Precautions. Yeah.
That's really safe, that passenger seat.
I'd suggest getting a helmet and a cage in your Clio
And harnesses.
and harnesses.
And gold accents to like gold and black looks really good together, Lewis. So I think you should do that.
Yeah, so if you do own a Clio of any sort,
Preferably a.
preferably a newer
Or
one.
even. I was going to say whichever
I
one
don't know
it was,
if
but I
they're
don't know.
even done by like Mark 1, 2, 3 or something, but
They've
yeah,
gotta be, sure.
cage it, and then you can do burnouts.
Full build.
Yeah.
Maybe
Also-
turn the traction control button off. and
Also,
then it'll
don't try to impress
have a traction
people.
control button.
I don't know. There'll be a way to
This
turn
is
it
a
off.
conversation for another day.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to perform manoeuvres, don't do it in a crowded area
Yeah, that's a good.
where you
yeah.
can be shown up or injure
But
people or
definitely, if
yourself.
you're going to try something, like if you're going to try a
Empty
burnout
car park.
or drift out of something, don't do your first time in front of a crowd at a meet.
That's hundreds and
Because
thousands of people.
you'll either crash and everything will go terrible, or it won't work and everybody will laugh because you look
Or
like
you'd
an
be on
idiot.
Adam C's video.
You just got to think. There's probably always someone with a camera at a meet. I've obviously been one of them.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, not anymore though. But
Previously.
yeah. But yeah, and someone's going to capture it. If you do a cool skid and you're like, oh yes, I've got a video of that, or you don't do a cool skid and you end up in something or someone,
Yeah.
that video is then.
Hopefully not in someone. It's probably worded incorrectly.
I know what I meant.
You could go through someone.
No, but if something happens that's not meant to happen,
It's
I
on
got knocked
camera.
it's on
very
camera,
quick.
and that can't.
At that point,
You
you
fudged
can't get away from the police.
Yes.
So make sure there's no cameras if you do hit someone.
Basically, just do stuff not near people. We shouldn't encourage. Just go on a track. Do what Craig said.
I said track.
Yeah,
he said kill yourself, not anyone else. Go to a track.
Yeah, just be sensible. Do that.
Or do it on
Just go to
private
a track,
land.
yeah,
Private land is also a...
Where though? Who has private land sections that?
We're in a recession here, bro. Who has private land?
Yeah.
This is private land.
Good topic, Craig. How's the recession affected the car industry or scene or whatever you want to talk
Terrible, because shipping anything from another country is a fortune.
And fueled. Oh my god.
about? Yeah.
As a diesel owner,
Mate, you're in a
currently-
diesel, you can't talk anything about fuel.
Expensive though.
how much does super cost right now? Super unleaded petrol.
Like 170.
183
Really?
a litre.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what standard diesel costs. If you're not a diesel owner, they
Dude, your
also
car
do...
does 500 miles on a tank.
They also do super unleaded diesel.
Who's putting that?
I don't know if it's called super unleaded, but it's like super
Special
diesel.
diesel.
Yeah,
that's
special
just
diesel.
marketing hype to attract
No,
gullible people.
I wouldn't. You labelled me gullible. I wouldn't have used it. It's the biggest mistake of my life because I didn't see any difference. But I
How
think
much more
that was
expensive is it?
about 20p. It was mad, but I don't know if that was just at the time. It was. I was in nowhere near any other petrol station, and it ran out. You know, at the point where fuel
Yeah,
was
it
running
was just
out,
nowhere.
so my hand was forced. I could have tried using the normal diesel if it came out. I would have known it was scamming. But I was forced to use it, and
I think the fuel problem's been a thing for a little
a
bit.
long time.
'cause-
It's coming down now.
Yeah,
Slowly.
Yeah, wow.
Before it was expensive. It was kind of.
It's not come down. It
have
went
any,
down a
did
bit and then it sort of popped back up again.
Yeah.
So right now,
Unless you go
I
to
don't look at
Sainsbury's.
petrol. I don't look at
No, I
petrol,
don't either.
but diesel right now in Burton in Tesco's is
Big advertisement here.
1.8 now 169.7.
It's something like it's so
yeah,
tight.
which is like 3p cheaper than what it currently is in
Is that
Sainsbury's.
normal or no?
Oh, I thought that was expensive.
That's normal diesel.
No,
I thought it was
it is.
like
I think
182 at
norm-
Sainsbury's and
Yeah.
Swad. It's quite cheap, isn't it? Like,
I think normal
cheaper.
petrol in Swad or whatever at Sainsbury's is like 1.6, low 160s, I think.
Imagine paying that.
And I know.
And I'm paying 1.839.
Super on. Well, I pay the same. I run both my cars on Super because they're old and don't
Fair
like.
enough. Yeah, don't like
E10.
the E10. But fuel's definitely been a killer of. If you see Marketplace, anything V6, V8 has been up for sale in the past 6
They're just not
months to a
selling,
year.
are they?
Nothing.
Because
350s,
people aren't
for
buying it
example.
because I couldn't justify it now. I
I
really
mean, for example,
couldn't.
there's people selling. There's somebody selling an Evo very similar to one that I sold. And I sold mine for what 17,000. That's been sold for weeks now at 13,
Yeah.
and no one's.
And that's
I mean,
not
let's be
even
honest,
a
we're in a
V6 or a V8. I know
No,
obviously
like
it
Evo's
chugs,
like
it obviously
atrocious.
it chugs fuel, but obviously people are even more put off by a V6 or a V8 as just
Don't buy
the-
an Evo in a fuel crisis. It's a terrible
I think
idea.
it's just built though, hasn't it? Because it's the whole thing of like COVID, the pandemic, and thing with people being more careful with their money. Potentially, I suppose,
Yeah.
is the idea. It depends personal if you have or not. I probably haven't, but it's general, normal people. And then obviously it's then gone to where it's built now with the recession of things. People are going to be like, I'm not going to go and buy a car because one's if it gets worse. One's if this is the start and it gets down. I don't know a lot about recessions as a young man. I've not googled it. I just know that you don't want to be wasting your money on
Nobody
spending.
has any money whatsoever.
Yeah, and
Because the cost of
bills
stuff
and
goes up,
everything.
to my
Unless you're Jeff
understanding.
Bezos.
So why are you going to spend X amount of money on a car you don't need? You're going to probably want something that's cheap. With fuel expensive, you don't want to buy something that's going to fudge you over. So it's well, you're laughing at my fudge rather than the F word, even though I've sworn
No, I
about
love it.
this.
It's telling people not to buy an economical car. There's me going, 3 litre straight 6. That's economical.
Yeah.
There's certain people that still, if they want it, they'll get it.
Yeah.
And there's not stopping, like, for example,
Yeah.
if you want it,
if you're committed to it and you
you
can afford it,
yeah, then you're going to do it.
you're going to do it all day
But
long.
the person that's on the edge already of, do I buy the car or not? And then they go,
It's gonna
fuel's
push them away,
expensive.
innit?
Not now.
We're in a recession. They're probably just going to go, just going to leave it. And I don't know how that'll necessarily affect the car prices. Possibly they'll just come down a bit. Because obviously...
The 350s, I feel like the market has
Everything.
dropped slightly.
I think
Yeah, they're
everything's had a
definitely
slight
You
drop.
can find
Yeah.
some for like $4,500 where they would have
Yeah.
been like 6.5,
Definitely,
maybe 6
yeah.
months ago, because they're just not budging.
I don't think
No,
I'd want a
nothing's selling.
350 on the road. It'd be atrocious.
If you were to buy one, if say you didn't have the 350
Yeah.
and you were like looking for something,
Oh, yeah, it'd be
and
mint.
now would be a perfect
Oh,
time
yeah,
to buy.
sick.
If you've got the extra
money,
funds,
but you need the cash, not bank loans, because that's also then another issue on itself.
yeah,
Is
because rates have gone up on
yeah, it's
everything.
stupid. You go,
Rates
the
have gone up.
car's only say it's $4,000. You get an interest rate's 20%, and that's an amount that I
Yeah.
can't work out in my
What
head.
bank are you going
Why,
to?
so that's good or
20%?
bad?
That's dreadful.
That's
Is
a
it?
lot now.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
It's
What?
that's dreadful. I mean, a good rate is like 6 or under, but most
Let's just
places
say
now.
So my finance is, I think, 4.6%.
Yeah, but I'm something
Which-
about right.
As now, though,
I don't,
I'm
I
just
don't
saying, like in like the
I'm
grand
like,
scheme
fine.
of things, 20% is
that a-
crazy.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was. No, I think mine was 17 when I requested a bank loan, and they offered that, and I was like, yeah, I'll just buy it because I did that for that. Like I was
Well,
like, I had a
I've,
look, and I was like,
I've
I'll just buy it.
I have a fairly good credit score, and if I go and look at the offers for loans, even mine gets 26%
Yeah.
or something. The last one I had was like 6%.
Yeah, I knew
sure
they'd gone up,
I'm
but
sure
I
that's
didn't
how
know
it
that they
works
were
with
that
bank
crazy.
stuff. Yeah,
which is obviously due to the economy. They're making money
Interest
back
gone up.
but
somehow.
also you get more interest on your savings, don't you? Because my interest rate on my savings
Yeah.
account's
Yeah.
gone up. So you get like an extra
What are
£1.
savings?
Oh yeah, sorry, Craig.
I don't know what they are.
Sorry, you got assets. Assets.
Yeah,
are-
assets is,
probably better.
we're going into the new world now.
Invest in Neo today. Current share price of $12.81. I don't know what it ended at today. But
Yeah,
buy it's low at the minute.
Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for you, Salty. Big up Neo.
Doesn't even watch it as far.
No one's this deep. Could say anything at this point, apart from like the one viewer that's committed in.
Imagine.
Lewis is just like, wow, this is me.
If he watches it.
Yeah, maybe, probably
You're
not.
like, wow, I wish I was there.
If I did a podcast.
Without me.
But I don't know how deep we are now, to be fair. I know we've done the first 30-minute segment. What time
Real
is it?
deep.
We started at 1:45.
Let's have a check.
I don't want to ramble on too far. Cause there's a
We're
point
about an
before-
hour in now.
Really?
Go on, watch. Oh, yeah.
Wow, we've gone so far.
We've rambled so much.
I'm going to try and cut it here because...
That's a good idea, otherwise we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Yeah, we just kind of just spiral off. But hopefully today's been a step forward into just kind of seeing potentially what it's like. I'll try and get some sort of structure, I think, for some other ones because we kind of just
Waffled.
spiral, and then I kind of don't know when to come off a topic, which isn't necessarily bad because you get kind of just nothing scripted. Like all I came into this was, I want to talk about the drifting, which I've spoke about, and then we then talked about the other bits that you've heard. But I'll try and branch out some things so I can try and push myself to try and get us into certain topics of whatever we find. But hopefully it's been enjoyable. I think, has everyone enjoyed it today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been alright. Yeah.
And once again, if there's anything you want like us to talk about in the video, just drop it in the comments.
And we'll jump at it
Well,
because
It's something to talk about.
something to
and
talk about.
If you want to know about it, then obviously it's something we can do.
Yeah. It
not
can be
hard.
anything. It can be something that you want our opinion on. It could be like, what car should I buy as my first car? It could be, what's your recommended
Daily driver.
daily driver or
Mondeo.
performance car for under 20 grand or anything like anything. It doesn't have to be that, but whatever you want to think, just shoot it.
your ideas over.
And we can roll with it, and it just gives us something to ramble about. As we're good at that. I just talk and talk forever.
Talking.
Just rambling.
Awful,
Shit.
so
Yeah, but thanks for watching, guys, and until next video, catch you later.
That was perfect.